Looks like Mazda's sending us their all-new CX-90 SUV for 2024. And this is the Premium Plus package, which means it costs a bit more than the standard $40,000 model. And let's see how much more. It appears everything is standard aside from the $595 for the metallic red paint. And that brings us to $61,920. Wow. Well, at least we're getting a lot of standard equipment. It's too long to show here. Just trust me on that. And this one is made totally in Japan with Japanese parts and Japanese workers in a Japanese factory, which means the quality is going to be pretty nice. So we're at our storage facility and test track. Let's roll this baby out and see what it looks like. So here she is. Very nice looking vehicle, I think, especially with this red metallic paint, which is slightly dirty because it rained last night. Needs to go out and get another cleaning. Well, the first things we do, we get a vehicle, stick the headlights out in the dark so they perform, do night driving. We did a separate video on that on YouTube. We'll have a link for that at the end of this video. Part 2, so you won't be missing anything. The second thing we want to do is check and see what brand of tires we have on the vehicle, because a lot of car companies are putting cheap, crappy brands that fall apart in a hurry, but fortunately these are Toyos. Pretty decent brand. I do have concerns about the size though. These 21 inchers look nice, but they don't contribute much to ride quality. Usually anything 20 inches or below works better, but we'll find out during our suspension test. And the third thing we want to do is check and see if there's a spare tire. So we'll fold these third row seats down. By the way, 2 passengers in the third row, 2 passengers in the big buckets in the second row, and 2 captain's chairs in the front. Gives us a 6-passenger capacity, but I'm told the standard model without all these bucket seats can hold up to 8. This one's a 6-seater. Alright, a lot of storage space here. Let's open up the lid and see what's under here. Well, we got some tools for changing a tire, but don't see anything thus far. Yes, there is a spare tire under the floor, a Yokohama Compact, which is better than nothing. Sure beats walking if you get a flat. Now, the big news for the Mazda CX-90 is what's under the hood. If you've been paying attention, there's a trend in the auto industry to remove nice big 6-cylinder engines off their mid-size and big SUVs and replace them with little turbocharged 4 cylinders, supposedly get better fuel economy. In the real world, it's been a disaster. They don't get better fuel economy. They're underpowered. They're overworked. They don't like towing. Bad move. Fortunately, Mazda didn't make that mistake. They removed their little turbo 4s and replaced it with a nice inline 6-cylinder, 3.3 liters, with a choice of 280 horsepower or 340 horsepower, thanks to turbocharging. This isn't some common V6 they swiped out of a car. This is an inline 6 cylinders in a row, which makes it a lot smoother than a V6, designed specifically for this vehicle. The fuel economy numbers, 23 in the city, 28 on the highway, and 25 in mixed, they claim. We're going to take this out in the real world and see how accurate that is. In fact, I can show you in the past 200 miles of driving, mostly in the city, 22.6 mpg. That's pretty darn good for a big 6-cylinder with lots of horsepower. And there's also a mild 48-volt hybrid system to give it a bit of extra torque when you need it. Overall, this is an excellent package, as we'll find out as you move along in this video. I'm really impressed with this engine. It's really fantastic. It's hooked to a slick 8-speed automatic transmission. Unfortunately, the shifter is not that slick. You have to move it over to the left to get it apart from right, and moving it out is fine, but putting it in can be a problem sometimes. I wonder how this is going to work when it gets 100,000 miles on it. It's hooked to an all-wheel drive system for better traction. Here's what the camera system looks like when you put it in reverse. Nice clarity. And here's your drive mode. giving sport, normal, or off-road ability. I do believe this is hill descent control. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to take this off-road because of the bad weather we're having. It's all muddy out there, and I don't want to get stuck. Back in the old days, Mazdas were all simple with just a few knobs and buttons. Now they've got a control panel trying to be like BMW, Mercedes. So be it. Here's the control panel for the infotainment screen. The volume control for the radio. Having all these controls on the console is very convenient. That's the good news. The bad news is you have your cup holders here. You better have a lid on your drink, because if you don't and it spills in here, it's going down inside and it's never coming out. Not a good idea. Climate control is pretty simple. Knobs and buttons the way it should be. Same thing for the heated seats, air conditioned seats. No need to go in the infotainment screen like some other makes I can think of. Get a very large, wide infotainment screen. I think it's 12.3 inches, if I saw the spec right. I'm told the base models get a smaller 10-incher. I haven't seen that yet. There's an awful lot of stuff in here to learn and do, but it only takes a couple hours, so don't be worried about it. It was easy for me. Should be easy for anybody then. You get an excellent gauge cluster with very little glare. Just a wee bit here, but you don't see it in person. It only comes on the camera, so not a problem. And when you turn off all these safety nannies you don't want, you get these bright yellow lights that come on the gauge cluster, and the same color as the serious stuff like check engine light. They should be a different color, but they never are in any vehicle. Can't they give it a green color or a purple or something? I guess not. This dash has some type of cloth cover on it, and it is really nice, durable, easy to clean, doesn't reflect much. This is nice. Other car manufacturers need to look at this. It's also on some of the door panels. Sure better than that reflective aluminum type stuff they're putting on vehicles nowadays. Or plastic that looks like aluminum. This is top notch. Lots of room in the glove box. And your 12-volt accessory outlet is right up here up front where it should be. Easy to reach. Overall, Mazda did a first-class job on this cabin. Definitely first rate. Thumbs up. Alright, show and tell is over. Now we're going to do some driving, and these 21 inches, I've never had a vehicle with wheels this big that provided a soft ride, so we'll take some speed humps to see what happens. They put these on for looks, by the way. As we do all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 15 miles per hour. See how the suspension performs an impact, as well as these big 21-inch tires. If you hear some rattling, it's not the vehicle. I have some tire repair kit tools in the back just in case. I get it flat, so might be some rattling going on. Here comes bump number 1. Heard the thumping from the big wheels, but not too bad. Number 2. Number 3. And the big nasty one. You can feel the wheels, but the suspension does a pretty good job of absorbing impacts. They did a pretty good job when they designed this vehicle, so it's still comfortable enough. The power steering isn't as sharp and precise as we get on other Mazda models, but more precise and quick enough compared to the competitors from other brands, so I think most people will be pleased. This is a heavy beast, so it can really match the 0-60 in 6.5 seconds claim. I'd say good for them. Let's give it a go. Oh, this thing's vicious. This thing really growls when you press it hard at high RPM. I guess that's what we want, and the brakes are very nice. Excellent pedal feel. Alright, I've reset the gas mileage computer to 0. I'll take a little freeway trip. See what type of economy we get. What is it claimed? 28 mpg? Well, we'll find out. If you do a lot of highway cruising, this might be a good vehicle for you. It's pretty smooth and quiet, aside from occasional thumping from those big wheels, which you get used to after time. There's certainly enough room for lots of cargo if you're taking a long trip, no doubt about that. Well, 26.2 mpg, not bad considering we're going slightly uphill. Can't complain about that. So what's my take on this Mazda CX-90 after a week of driving? On the positive side, I can tell you somebody at Mazda has their act together. They got rid of these little turbo four-cylinder engines. They got rid of the V6 engines that were designed to be in cars, not SUVs. And they put in this nice inline six that was designed from the ground up to be in a truck or SUV. And it works like a dream. So you go to a Mazda dealer and you see this emblem on a vehicle, thumbs up. As far as the price tag goes, well, the starting tab of around 40 grand isn't too bad, competitive with the other brands, but when you get to 61 grand, fully loaded, that's about 8 grand more than the Kia Telluride, which is the most popular vehicle in this segment, aside from the Toyota Highlander, and kind of pricey, so work your best deal. But as long as you can get this nice motor, I don't think you'll be disappointed. That concludes our road test. You won't see the night drive and headlight review. Here's the link coming up. Just click and watch.